Hello guys, and welcome to the playoffs of the Chinese League, the PCL Summer Playoffs. I'm Toby, and we're going over these analysis videos just like we've done with the other regions. If you haven't watched any of it, I've done Europe, or EMEA, I've done PEL, at least. I've done the Korean League, PKL, and I've done NPL, the American League, National PUBG League. And now we have reached the playoffs of the Chinese League. I was initially gonna do the whole Chinese League, but I'll show you here why I didn't, because that would have been a lot a lot of games. Because the way it works in the Chinese League is that they have a separate group stage and a playoff stage, and in the group stage they have 48 teams, 3 full 16 team lobbies, and that's a lot of games to cast or to analyze for me while I'm also doing all the other regions. So instead of going over the entire group stage, now that we're in the playoffs, let me just show you the rundown here, which is on the Wikipedia. You can find the links yourself if you want to. It'll be visible, Patrick. Once we get started, it'll be visible. Don't worry. It'll be visible in a moment. There's a logo. Out here that you can't really see right now, but that's because it's on white on the background of the Wikipedia. You'll see it in a second. Doesn't matter. But nonetheless, let's just quickly take a look at the list of teams here. We got all the 48 teams. These are the ones that are gonna get relegated. You got Victory 5 down there and Crystal Luster. Crystal Luster we've seen play on the global stage. And Victory 5 as well, a team that has previously done extremely well in the Chinese League. So they obviously didn't pull through. And then we'll I'm looking at this and trying to figure out if I'm correct. I think I am. And we'll take a look at all the other teams further down the list. We got J Team. We don't have to list off all of them, but we can just go through and see if there's some I guess mention-worthy names on the list. LGD we've seen before. XDG as well has been teams on my, I guess you can say, on my radar that I've noticed before. The Vibo's own team is down there, bottom 2 of each division. So it's the overall stats instead of that. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Super Survivor Squad, they're down there. They're a team that has previously put up some pretty good numbers too. VC as well. Not and you got to keep in mind there's both VC gaming and there's VG. It's not the same thing. It's that can be confusing, but I guess you can say fortunately both teams didn't make it through, because that would just have been extremely confusing. But both SSS that we've seen on the global stage before as well, alongside VC, is not through. Edward as well haven't made it through. And then we go up to the list of teams that did make it through. We got OMG, you guys all know them. 4AM, Vici, and here they are, Vici Gaming. We got the Luminous Stars team we've seen play global stage before. And then we got Black Ananas. I don't really know. I feel like Black Ananas has potential that I haven't seen from them yet. I've watched some of the games and I've tried to figure out how, like, where to put them in my box of teams on a list of what they can do. And sometimes they've surprised me extremely positively, and sometimes they've done things where I've been like, don't know about that one. So we'll see how it goes here in the first day of the playoffs. And so this is your team, your list of 16 teams, and of course we'll get to see more of them. LYG, ARC, all the guys will get on with it as the video starts, which it does. Boink. Right now. So that was the introduction to all of it. We'll jump straight into game number 1. The way that they do this is they play 6 games per day. The first 3 games are on Erangel. Then you have 1 game, keep in mind, 1 game of Sanhok, and then we go over to 2 games of Miramar. So obviously a Erangel favored region, I guess you can say. And Sanhok not so much, but it's there. But let's go straight into game number 1, and now you can see the PCL logo as well. It's right there. Boink. It was just white because I knew the background on this was either gonna be colored or completely dark, so it would make more sense to have it in white than in dark colors. In any case, let's get right into game number 1. Of course, these guys, some of them have got to play against each other a lot in the weekly finals. Most of them, I would assume, have. But before we pop our circle, which you now saw it anyway, but let's just see where teams land, because we're gonna be covering quite a few games of this tournament, and well, we'll see. Yeah, exactly. They're playing MET, and they were at PAI. So what do we have? RNG, they're looting Pochinki, but they're sending one out west really early. That's interesting. That's not a split you normally see. He simply, you can see, he parachutes all the way over. And I'm gonna be butchering these names. I've practiced, but I'm gonna be butchering some of these names. Now you're warned in advance. But Shuai, I think that's his name, makes his way over and actually split loots from his teammates in Pochinki. Not a split that the Western scene or the Korean scene. I mean, honestly, whenever you loot Pochinki, you rarely ever see a team split the west side, especially not when you have a team, not just any team, but a team like OMG looting a Gatka split with an Eastern looting player as well. So that's a scary split, but I respect it. It makes sense. It's a good decision for them to go do that. And then you have YTG down the southern side. They're splitting. I guess you can say splitting the Ferry Pier and east side area with IFT and with Elstars. Elstars, as we said earlier, you've seen before in international tournaments, if you've been watching any of those. VG, they're looting up by Lipovka. So it's a two-way split on the eastern side too, with the Knight split, or I guess you can say Prison Mansion east side split over there. We got LYG over in Milta Power. They'll get themselves looted up. And then 4 a.m., they're inside School and Apps. So OMG not looting their south side that we've seen them do before. And 4 a.m. looting up in School and Apps. Tianba, they're getting themselves looted up in South George, and North George is taken by LG as well. So a lot of terrain taken, and a dedicated military team too. Got to throw that one in there. A lot of split teams. I like to see it. I mean, it's not a big cluster. Game number one, you know, things can always get a little chaotic, but seems like teams have found their spots. I'm interested in seeing though if RNG's player here, Shuai, will be allowed to stay here, or if they will somehow pressure him out from this position. That's what I'm thinking about. But let's get the game going. We're gonna slow it down a little, and then we're gonna let this one roll forward. So Western Circle, obviously, you have your Potato Hill rotations. Keep in mind, Chinese rotations might not be the exact same ones as the ones in the Western scene, but I'll be surprised if there's a lot of variation, but we'll see. We'll see anyway. Pochinki team leaving early. They already have one player out early, and they're going to go take their west side split. Decent split. We've seen it done many times before. QM doing a bit of a highway split, I guess you can say. Normally, you'd set up teams on the northern side, but they prioritize the compounds and the safety of that. So they have two guys up on the hill holding the highway with the... Is it 3 guys up there? No, I think it's only 2. Oh, you still have Wu Feng over here. So Jiffy is holding the compound while the 2 players are trying to see if they can get some kills up on the highway. 4 a.m., they're coming in early as well. A lot of teams rotating surprisingly early here, actually. LGE crossing over from North George. Not a lot of issues for them, but you can see already now, Jianba, interesting split from them. 2 guys in Swamp early on. We're talking Circle 1 here. That's not normally a spot at which you see teams go Swamp, but Dong Dong and Lorena, they're holding the north, while the other 2 players are down in the Swamp. OMG, wide split as well. Wide splits from OMG early on in the game. YTG splitting all over the place. Actually, let's just draw it up real quick. Split. Split. Wide split. Split. I know that Long is still driving, but still. Whoops, that's 2 different teams. Split. 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 Everyone is out there taking control. This is, I mean, this is not something you see in Korea, in NPL or in PEL. Yes, teams do split. But especially on these Western circles where it's so hard to really get anywhere, get anything for yourself, these guys are splitting, and it's not just splitting, it's aggressive splits. I mean, OMG, they're in Gatka, they're holding a priority compound, like some call this gut compound because of its value. They have Observatory and Gatka. That is a extremely greedy split, so there's no fear from these Chinese teams at all. And we're talking first game. That's normally where you might want to take it a little easy because you don't know what the other team's planning on doing. But these guys, they're playing aggressive. They know what they want, and they're going to try and maintain it. Ooh, and then we get this shift. Interesting one. Of course, Quarry taking up quite a lot of space, so you'd assume to see some teams trying to make it in from the south. On the northern side, you have Georgiapol, which is going to block off quite a bit. You have the Everest itself, not exactly easy to rotate through either. You have a passage to go through here. You can rotate through. You wouldn't be driving through Gatka. And you can see already now, we're limiting quite a lot of rotation opportunities on the northern side. And it's also, once you get into the circle, like once you're here, where do you go? Because this would already be contested most likely. We know the circle is going to shift away from the water at some point. And then you have the big field and a big field. So where do you go in these circles? This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be very tough. Because rotating, like, if you want to get your vehicles out west, swamp is going to prevent that. You're going to be driving through a big field with a lot of, what can you say, like difficult areas to maneuver around. Big field here as well. You pretty much have to maneuver south. And I think that's why we see DAE and D7 make their way down there. QM, they're up north, wrapping around up towards Hospital Hill, get some vision. VG splitting 3-way in circle 2. I mean, these guys, they're very greedy with the splits, but they also then disengage. I mean, that's the thing, right? Why not do the split? If you get the building, if there's no one there, and if you know that you have an escape plan, you might as well. There's no reason not to. The more of a terrain, like the more mass of the circle you are in control of, the bigger the odds that some of your players are inside the next circle to pop. New circle pops. Ooh, hard shift south. Like legit hard shift down south. There's 2 teams on the southern half of this circle. Main issue right now is that if you want to rotate underneath, you can't just do the little wipe there because Quarry is all of a sudden taking up a big chunk of this circle. And you have a big mountain ridge here as well, which is not exactly easy to drive over. So either you have to maneuver all the way around, pretty much the same rotation that we expected them to do in circle 2, you have to do, or you somehow have to fiddle your way in here. But you have a compound here, you have a compound here, you have the wizard, which could be taken by players. Extremely difficult to maneuver through as well. Now let's see, LG gonna take the west coast split. They know. I mean, yes, circle is gonna shift away next circle. Oh, it's going to shift away from water next circle, but still, you got to play with what you can. And look at the positioning still. Teams, they just cannot get south. You cannot get south in this circle. It's going to take too long. We're already hitting circle 4 in a second, so damage is going to start applying quite rapidly. BA, they're forced to go in north. Black Ananas, we got QM making their way underneath as well, trying to get themselves in a good spot. Now, circle goes away from water. We all know it's going to. And 4AM get one thrown straight in their face. And we look at this and we say, great, we do the lineup again. 3 teams now on the southern side. So only 1 team made it down to the southern half, right? Look at the north. You have a huge, let me draw it in a different color. You have a huge field, which is pretty damn difficult to do anything from, especially with this compound still in play. So that's not really a place you want to go to. On the southern side, let me draw it in green. You have a huge field. Not exactly a place you want to go to, because this compound is still in. So with these 2 compounds in, they make so much of the circle practically unplayable. Same thing over here. Big old field. Nah, can't do it. That compound is still in play. So for all these teams that are currently on the northern side, we're saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams in or north of the swamp area. They somehow have to maneuver their way if they want to get anything center. There's just nothing you can take it. You have 3 compounds. 4, if you count the wooden houses as well. That's really all you can play from in this circle, unless if you're out on the western side. But teams can't get down there. Like, they cannot get out there at this point. That's the issue, right? They can't get further south anymore. You can't use vehicles anymore because the terrain is so condensed with players. So very, very, very difficult situation to find yourself in. Tiamba, they, of course, they were there early, and they have set up on the edge. They're trying to hold off opponents. OMG try to run through L-Stars. That's not going to happen, and all these teams are just praying for circles to go to Swamp, but no. We go even further south, just to make matters worse than what they already were. LGE trying to rotate out and around the compound. FPX won't let that happen. Minmi is there to help. DAE, now they know they're forced to make a move somewhere, and they push up the hill, so smart play by them. They cannot just sit down here. They cannot start running into the compound because they're there, and this is the field, so if they want to bring cars for cover or something, they have to wrap either north around or south around. They go up north. They know that they have to fight to take with FPX. Great performance by them. Not only get the kills, but they manage to keep all 4 alive. Tianba, the only team out of all the teams that were up here, Tiampa is the only team that actually makes it out alive from the swamp to then just be killed off immediately. Kind of. They do have a guy still alive in the shack. But they did just lose 3 players trying to leave there. 4am leaving the compound. They know the circle's going to shift away. So they're trying to play on the edge. RNG, they have the, I guess you could say the ball on the other side of the road. And because they know that the compound is out, they can now play that. Smart playing by them. Not aggressing into this position before they knew that the compound was going to get shifted out. D7G still on the southern side. There's no real reason for them to not play the compound at this point. If they want to get out from there at some point, they do have the kind of exit path into the swamp. But why leave when the circles keep coming your way, you know? Still sitting well in at 4am on the northern side. They will have to take this fight with RNG at some point, but don't really want to force themselves into it. Lou pushing around the side, still holding the flank, does go down, and that's unfortunate because 4am were in a position where Lou was kind of the one holding the backside while these guys could, well, push either way, honestly. But their eyes in the sky go down, and now all of a sudden 4am down to 3. Do manage to stay alive for a little while longer. Next circle pops. Timon and DY, they're in the middle. They know, you know what? I mean, if we stay up on the hillside, which is where the teammates are, if we stay up here, we're not going to get the center in the final circle. And then they'll just, like, they'll get down here. They'll just hold us. We have no way of doing it. So they send 2 down early. They know we still got 4 players alive. So why not risk it? Because odds are the teams we go up against probably aren't 4 alive. Well, I mean, they're 3, 3, and 4. So it's a risky situation for them to do this in. But I completely understand why they do it. Small gets taken down. M200 trying to make his way on down. He goes down 2. 4am holding them off. Now the guys from D7 push out from the compound. Works out well as well. They saw that there were a little amount of players in the circle, and they took the chance to push it. 1 guy down from 4am, that's forever. So now Wellness and Seago by themselves. Pushers come over. D70 wins the game. But let's look at the points, because okay, so they do actually rack up quite a few points. So they get themselves 7 points overall, or 7 kills overall, which is actually more than what I thought they were going to get from the compound. But there were so many teams trying to crash down from this side, and they've just been sitting and harvesting. 4am, they were fighting on the other compound on the eastern side, and they get themselves 6 kills as well. So decent first game for both those teams. Tricky circles. I mean, we had a really fair plane. And of course, when you get a fair plane, you cannot get both right. Either you get a good plane or you get a good circle. This one, circles were brutal from start to finish. But very, very interesting, I believe, that the that we saw the teams split as hard as they did. Very interesting to see. And I'm very curious to see how that's going to affect game 2. Because obviously between the games, they'll go back and they'll look at whatever videos they have available. And I would assume that they're coaches and analysts try to help inform them on what the teams did in the previous game. So now let's see if anything changes for game number 2. The most fair plane in the universe is literally just across the map. That's a plane we could use more in some of the other regions, because I feel like planes are like this or like this or like this. This is that's a good straight plane that I obviously cannot draw because I can't draw a straight line. But already now, look at this way that he parachuted. Goes over for the vehicle, goes down. But still, he was flying out this way. Instead of jumping down late to here, he jumped out this way, forcing... I mean, I don't know if he was forcing, really, but actually, you could see the way that he was parachuting here. Shwai. I don't know how to say that, but I'm probably going to be told by some guys at some point, Toby, you're saying it all wrong. He was going that direction. Again, get the vehicle, go down, but turns when he sees him in the sky in front of him. So presence known, takes the car, goes down, and already in game 2, Pachinki is going to be the place for the guys. I don't know exactly what Long is doing over here. That's not normally a compound you see looted in the beginning of the game, but nonetheless, that's what goes on. 4am, they're gonna get themselves looted up early too. Nobody in apps, but again, they're picking up vehicles, so that does kind of make sense. DAE, they're going north. Obviously, one of those teams that can go both sides. If it's a melee plane, they'll go melee. If it's not, they'll go up north towards Severny. Wait, what? It was DAE that was military last game, wasn't it? Patrick, are you messing with me? Patrick, 1-0 to me. The only reason I'm saying this is because I know Patrick is a very, very smart guy when it comes to PUBG. And he probably knows a lot more in specifics than what I do. But this time around, I was right. No worries, no worries. No worries at all. So Circle Pups, it's going to be Eastern. One ARC, gonna be happy with that. Maybe, we'll see. But also remember, we have two teams splitting mansion, or the whole mansion area. And that could cause some trouble in this circle, because normally it's just, at least it tends to be one team that gets to get this area depending on the planes. And oh yeah, with the circle, with the point system earlier, you're right, it's the next. So it's 1-1. Fair enough, I'll give him that one. But normally it's one team that loots this, which means that for teams that traverse towards him, for teams that come from either from the southern side or from east, there's more available early on. But since there's two teams looting here, well, obviously there's going to be twice the chance for an opponent to be in the building that you're pushing up to. So if you're a scout that goes early by yourself, or we saw how greedy these teams were splitting early on, that could actually be kind of dangerous. But we'll see. We'll see if we'll see similarities to how greedy they were with the western splits here in the on the eastern side. Already now, ARC looting. I mean, we're still in the looting phase. This is in the very start. Look at this. Mango has no loot at this point. He drives straight to yellows. ARC runs into the city. Oh no, he probably drives. Lands here, gets the car, drives up towards the city, immediately drives back down again when he sees the circles. Already now, ARC is split in a 4-way, so they can, well, keep control of some compounds. BA, they see the circle, they immediately send it up to the compound on the southern side there. Their teammates go to overlap, and this is a great play. Look at this. The way they're looting. Shelter and DC-12, or 12th of December, I guess, is looting the warehouse. As soon as they leave to go up here, Pig and Set he makes their way up to take what they had before. Just overlapping. There's no reason to give an opponent 30 seconds where they can rotate here. Might as well just go take it immediately. So 2-way split, 3-way split. Other teams are starting to maneuver in. You can see QM, they're scouting forward, trying to figure out what's going on the other side. Scouting the compound. Obviously, they'll most likely, I would assume at least, see that it's taken already. Get yourself one more vehicle for that rotation to come. VG, Milu alone in Alamo. Okay. It's going to stay inside. 4 a.m., they take control of the western Alamo. They have Lou up in the volcano area, and they have Wellness and Sigo down in the L compound. QM, they're going to 3-way split it, but closer this time around. And I think for the most part, teams do sit a little closer on this side than what they do over on the other. Elstas, they run straight into LYG, though. That's interesting. Not normally in areas you can test it too much, but this is one of those pit stop positions where you go to. You're not, like, you never plan to play the actual game from here, but you'll go and have a break here and then make your way further forward. Makes sense, Cities. Makes sense. Now let's see. This next circle could determine quite a lot. Again, position of the water. Position of the water. Gotta have control of that river. If you're deciding to stay on the western side of this circle, you need to have control of the river, which is exactly what we see them do here. And these Chinese teams, I mean, I'm telling you, there might not be, and it's difficult because we don't really get to see PCL with English casters, but I think there's a lot to learn. In many games, it's the Korean teams. It's always the Korean teams in StarCraft, League of Legends, all those, and they're the ones that define the meta. I think not for the most part, but quite a long way down, China is doing a lot of innovative things in PUBG. Built their summer around. Oh yeah, huh? I was wondering why I couldn't see Matt anywhere. So, this is the I think the opposite of what 90% of the teams wanted. This circle shift. Gotta say, as fair as those planes are, those circles truly are brutal. We go in a complete river split, and keep in mind this is only circle 2, so the next one can go anywhere. For the teams that have control of the water right now, they might want to settle down on one side. You can settle on a side and be close to the what do you call it? Close to the water. So you could take Rozhok but play up here so you could easily cross, or you could play over here so you could easily cross, those things. But I don't think you can greet this one out just because there's going to be so many teams coming your way. Teams are going to be rotating over potato. Teams are going to rotate north around. You need to not be greedy. And I think we see it here as well. QM immediately back down. Jamba still keep their four-way split. Now 4AM are coming in to say hello in Rozhok. LGE, close two-way split. ARC, they've settled on one side as well. VG kind of staying on the back foot just because they wanna have that rotation opportunity. Like they can bounce to whatever side depending on where the circle goes. RNG, they're rotating in. Keep control. DG coming in late as well. Now the circle goes north. Okay, so we confirmed that it's going to go north the water. LYG, they're going to rotate far north around. Maybe down and through. This is a dangerous rotation. We talked about this area a lot previously in both PL and, well, I mean, actually all the analysis. We've talked about this area and how there's very little cover for you to play in. And most likely, if you bring in vehicles, they're going to be destroyed. So you can't be using them again. OMG somehow managed to cross over without getting killed. Not sure exactly how Xiao managed to do that. Black Ananas making their way on up. New circle pups, and we're going even further into the open. Now, fortunately, there is some forest areas up the hill here that you can play from, but this is not easy. ARC and YGG, they're caught on the east side in a skirmish that I don't think any of them would have wanted. On the back side, we got Ifty still down south with QM crossing over. I would assume, yeah, they're going over immediately. LYG, they just go, you know what? I think I saw an area that wasn't taken. Let's just go take it, because there's honestly not a whole lot you can do from this side of the circle, because it's all uphill. For those of you guys who, for whatever reason, wouldn't know the terrain, like this is a big uphill in this direction. So get up there as fast as you can. You don't want to be running up that hill with people above shooting down and the guys next to you shooting at you too. Clear this area as fast as you can, and that's exactly what LYG does. Yeah, exactly. It's open as hell. It's just a big open uphill push. Ifty forced into a fight now. 4AM playing on foot on the backside, and I kind of like this because they knew that there was a lot going on because they left early, right? Look at this. They get caught in the middle of OMG and Tianba and Rozhok, and they managed to make it over towards the Wizard. Yes, sitting 4 guys in the Wizard is not exactly optimal, especially not in the same car, but they do manage to make it over. That's the most important thing. And now that they're over, they hear all these shots fired in the south still. And they say, you know what, we're not going to benefit from going into the center, and we're still running uphill as well. So they can sit here, and they can't see further up than what's right here. It's not like they can sit here and see over here. Not possible. It's a big uphill still in this direction, all the way up until this ridge line type thing here. Like this is the high point of this area. Then it goes down on that side, and it goes down on that side. Yeah, exactly. They've played around here before as well. I think we even saw them play that in what? When did they? When was it? I hate when I can't remember things. Oh, it doesn't matter. I've forgotten it. But I think I've seen them do some pretty interesting things from this shack. I think Sims was cast in that game. I don't know why. I just have a memory that 4AM did majestic things from that Wizard once before. Doesn't necessarily make it a good position to be 4AM though, but we can go back to that. But look at this, now that the circle shifts, and that's what I wanted to get to. Now that the circle shifts, they start spreading out, because they now know that these guys that are down south, they won't have time to just sit in their houses and keep shooting at them. They will need to be the ones moving, and that's when you split out and take control. And they can actually kind of contest both bridges. They can see down to the bridge from the position they're in, and all of a sudden, they can start contesting over here as well. So look at this. OMG manages to cross. Lin Shun is still underneath the bridge, but now Siko comes over as they start fighting, and all of a sudden, OMG, they're on the inside, like on the good side, I guess you can say, of a 4v4 fight. And that could potentially just be points racked up for them. Very smart positioning. And they rack up, how many kills do they have at this point? They get 4 kills off of that. So good, smart rotation that nets them kills. Not only that, but means that their side of the circle is that less contested. Because the more you can clear before the new circle pops, that less teams you'll have to run with into wherever the next circle may go, right? So really smart play from 4am to contest it. Now they get themselves even more kills with the team elimination, and all of a sudden, look at the buffer zone they have. Because they go down and aggressively take control of what's down here, they now have all this to play. Really, really smart playing from 4am. Really smart. Clear your side and then move accordingly. Because look at this, had this circle shift come up now, with one team down here and one team over here, 4am's situation would be a lot worse than what they're in now. But because they managed to make room for themselves, all of a sudden it's actually rather doable. Yes, they still don't have cars, and this push is rather open. Like from here up to here is quite an open field. But they do find a buggy on the other side, it seems like. Sicko finds himself a vehicle. LGE pushing up forward. Not exactly a good position. 4am and Janba on the south side starts a little engagement there too, and all of a sudden things are starting to fall apart. But as we said, very hard and open field to run through. Not an easy situation to be in whatsoever. On the northern side, RNG, they have all the control in the world. They pretty much have at least 1/4 of the circle to themselves. LGE try to push forward. They got the elimination on towards the team below, and they've played this one really smart too, LG. Look at this. They sit two-way split. Ahang, I'm not sure how to say that one either. But he's on the northern side. Makes it back to the Wizard. They've heard the guys from 4am push in, and they also hear the vehicle push up. And then see CC here. Instead of pushing up when he hears the car drive, he backpedals and runs underneath. Look at the info he can provide to his teammates that are sitting up here. They're sitting up here trying to control what 4am are doing. And he's like this sheep herder, you know? He just walks behind them, sneaks his way forward, doesn't make a sound, but he's providing so much information to his teammates on the other side. Now he runs back down. They get them all 4 picked up. Gets the next circle. Really smart play. Don't over-aggress. Sometimes the information you can provide to your teammate is much more important than you maybe getting 1 kill and then getting traded and getting killed in return. So there are 4 guys alive in a pretty decent position now. OMG get eliminated too, so they take out 2 of the heavy hitters of the group. RNG still up on the northern side. FPX have left the building, and then you have DA. Well, they looted Severny, so they're, I guess, initially happy with this circle. Not too much to complain about. And I'm pretty sure, I don't want to tell you guys the points yet, but I'm pretty sure they get something around a 15-17 kill game, LG. They just cleaned up so much from the southern side all the way through. Very, very, very clean game from them. They get 1 eliminated, turn around to small. He starts shooting. All of a sudden, it's a 1v1. He gets it. Now watch this. If we go back, because they were the team that we saw before this circle committed to the other side. Yeah, 17 kills, exactly. They were split on the top right. Keep that control of the water. New circle pops, commit over, but split again. Never go down on info and terrain. New circle pops, they even 3-way split it this time around. There, go out and take control. This is what I talked about when I watched a lot of the Korean teams. This is what I talk about. Dare to go out and take control of the area. If there's people there, back off and go back again. But you might as well try and find out. Because if this circle shifts up this hill, they have no info. You cannot see up the hill from this compound. You cannot see up the hill from the garage or the gas station. So the fact that CC comes up here and can tell them, well, that was clear. So in case the circle goes up there, we'll have that available. Now they get to now they know. I mean, yes, they stay because they get pulled up on from behind by VG, but they now know at one point this was free. And with all the amount of teams fighting south, it's limited how many teams we'll have around here. That's exactly what we see with 4am. They wipe them. They now know, good. We can push across here. We can make the run on up. Vehicle comes around. CC can push back to the exact same position it wasn't before and backtrack them all in. And that's when they started just slaughtering everything. So really nice priorities from the LG team. And yes, as I said, and Patrick said as well, 17 kill game. That is pretty damn insane. 8 kills for 949 and 5 kills for Ahang, who's the one who also wins the game in the end. Very impressive game, and no one was anywhere near him. We had 4 a.m. they managed to rack up 8 kills. They were the ones clearing out the southeast side down there. And then that was it, really. I mean, no one was anywhere near them. 6 kills for D7. Really impressive game. Like, really, really impressive game from LG. So, obviously, a team to respect, to be afraid of for any of the PCL teams. Now, we'll just have to see. Right, we'll zoom it out real quick. We head over to game number 3. Boink. And again, if you guys have any questions along any of this, do feel free to ask. I'm all for talking about this, and I'll be honest. I'll be the first to admit that the amount of knowledge that I feel that I have on the, I guess at this point I could say European and Korean scene. I think having had the pleasure to cast with Paper Thin and having done a lot of research myself, having talked to Patrick and all these things, I feel pretty comfortable in my knowledge on the Korean scene. But I do not know a lot about the Chinese scene. I know things. I've watched a lot of the games, and I think I know what to look out for and the tendencies. But I get surprised. That's what I said in the beginning of the video too. I get surprised by some of the teams. Black Ananas, for example, they can go out. They could technically pull off a LGE game there, where you see their rotations. Like, oh my god, that's such 200 IQ plays they're doing. And then the next game, they do some weird rotation where you're like, wait, what? And that's still me trying to understand that region. So some things that happen I might not understand, but obviously since it works, it's not about it's bad if I don't understand it. It's just because I don't understand it, but it works. So I hope that kind of makes sense. But it's interesting. I love it. Same game, same platform, same map, and being played so differently. And I hope that whether I get to do anything for the PGC or not, that the casters and talent there will do a lot to put emphasis on the differences, because there's a lot. There's a lot. Xiao Xiao, where are you going, buddy? He's not gonna go back. And oh, we've seen these circles before. We've had one in. I casted one with D-Man that ended down here. No, it actually ended right there. That was an interesting one. I know there's been one in PEL Contenders that ended down around here as well. I think PKL maybe has had a game that ended down here somewhere. Or was it NPL? I don't remember. But these areas, man, they're no fun. They're dangerous. They're scary. Because look at the rotations teams have to go through, right? You got school apps, you don't want to drive through there. And then you have Pachinki, obviously you don't want to go through there. So you put your way over Potato, or over the north side highway, or you go in from the south. But already then, that's just 3 routes that can technically be upheld by 2.5 teams, maybe 3. Oh yeah, PCL had one down south as well. Yeah, we've had these before. Let me put it at that. From the north, you have a little more wiggle room, because you can always make your way underneath Yasnaya and make your way in up here. But then again, it's what do you prioritize, right? Because if you go up towards Lumber early, like if you go anywhere up here early game, odds are you're already giving up on vehicles at that point, because it's very hard to drive around. There can be a lot of teams close to you that you can't really prepare for if they're on foot too. So if you drive up here, you normally wouldn't, like if a team, let's say a team rotates up here with vehicles, you normally wouldn't see that team do another vehicle rotation. They'd be playing on foot from there on. So if they go up here early and all of a sudden the circle goes out here, or even military, then that could be them in a pretty tough situation. But now let's see how these guys rotate. We know the Chinese, they're greedy on their splits from time to time. BA getting down to loot. Interesting loot split from them. So the circle pups, as they land, you can see now they got their vehicles. 3 guys in this car. Pick has his own. And they're one of those teams that normally loot out on the eastern side. And there's a lot of changes in where teams loot. VG, they're up north. You got LYG up north this time around as well. They probably realized, you know what, if we jump early, or not jump late, because they saw a military team, we can get Severity to ourselves. LG, they'll keep their split, but VG, they're up here. And Black Ananas, they're on the inside now as well. And they would normally split like all these things, right? But because of the circle, they go, you know, we might as well go down and take some control. I mean, why not go down and try and see what we can obtain early? Might as well get a center spot. Might not be that well looted, but we'll be in the center circles, and we should be able to play off of that. So smart. A lot of teams, they go, oh, The circle went here, but we normally loot here, so we'll go loot here anyway. And then there are those teams that that react more to the circle, like they loot more dependent on the circle, and I kind of like to see that. Hey, Sig, how are you doing? FPX securing a boat, just in case, you know, just in case. I hope he didn't beach it. Just securing a boat in case the circle should go south. That's probably a good idea. YTG, they're making their way over towards the west side compound. Trying to split now, but RNG coming over the top of them. That's a little tricky. 4 AM, as we talked about, pushing into lumber mill area to the west side with the shack down there. You got DAE there pushing down south. They're the military team that crossed over, and they actually go into Milta, forcing D7 to go on the northern side. That's interesting. Normally, teams, if they go south, they want to continue around, but they decide to stop, take control, maybe try and be there, so if another team tries pushing over, they can be the ones to contain them. But a smart place from DAE early on, at least. We'll see if that comes to pay off with them staying where they are. Arc, three-way split, taking control of Britain. Long is a little further north. This is an interesting split too. Shelter, compound, split. Let me draw it up in different colors. This is insane. Some of these splits, man, I'm telling you. Some of these splits are very aggressive. But obviously, I mean, they're working. This is not that insane. I just drew it up because it was a split. Oh my god, they're splitting these compounds. Actually, it is kind of scary because they know they have a team north of them and they just saw a full team pull up in the compound west. So it is a little scary to be that far apart. But, you know, I mean, you can't really go back and forth all the time anyway. We'll see if it works out. New circle is going to pop. FPX, they just said, you know what, we'll just take military. So in case we get it, probably not. But in case we get it, we can go there. And also there should be a boat they can go north with, or just wrap back where they came from. Yep. They go, nope. Turn around and go back where they came from. But now, though, this circle, if they better get going. They're sitting in a three-way split with the 2-1-1 composition, and they need to get Snake. They do. People call this Snake. People call it Zigzag. I don't know what you guys like to call it. Some call it S. I think Snake is a good name for the whole area. So they go up and take the southern side of that. Then you have L-Stars. They're going to split two ways as well with their previous three-way split. Becomes a two-way rather than that. Makes perfect sense. Sent the two single players or solo players over to one. Have the duo go up and take over from one of them. Look at the way they transition as well. Swoop. Perfect. You have all the control. You have all the information. Might as well use it to advantage. RNG, despite being very, very split early on, managed to make a full rotation in towards the northern side of the Snake compound. OMG, they're going to have full control over on the west. And VG now trying to push underneath over towards the gas station. They're going to go down to Sharkfin, get themselves that position. Vama keeps moving further forward. Chiamba is up. Okay, this is interesting. So Chiamba has made their way in from up by Potato. And OMG has given this one up. They were never actually there. You can see they immediately sent Shark and Xiaohai up towards the triple compound. And I don't know if they like. I mean, I don't know, because they're looking down obviously, and they're saying, well, there's no cars there. Let's just go down and take it. And it makes perfect sense. There are three guys alive. Secure the compound. Played from there. But I would think that OMG are kind of split off because of that. Hey, Matt, nope, I'm back in Denmark. Not casting GLL today. It's only on Wednesdays we do the wingman stuff. So OMG, they're back in their seat, sitting as they do. But I just would think that you would do something to try and prevent the team from taking this compound, depending, of course, on where the next circle goes. It's difficult to play from, but they also, like, having that compound is your free access to Potato. You can always back out this way to the dips. And these guys can't really contain that, and these guys can't do that much about it either. Unless if they actually push out, which could allow for FPX to push up to them. So, I don't know. I just think it's I guess you can say, unnecessary pressure in OMG's situation to have that team play on their back foot. But we'll see what happens with it. 4 a.m. still 4-way split up on the dirt road here. They were on top of each other initially. Ark came up to fight them. New circle pops, and they sent down to Wizards. So obviously this was a bail play. They lose Wellness, they lose Lou on the eastern side, and Forever and Seko have to commit to that Wizard. Not where you wanna be in this situation, but well, I mean, sometimes you don't have a choice. Will I be at PEL? I hope. I don't think so. No. I wouldn't mind casting PL this week. That could be fun, but no, I won't. If they called me tomorrow and said, "Hey, can you take a flight and cast tonight?" I'd be fine with that, but I don't think that's going to happen. FPX still control on the western side. We know the next circle is going to shift away from water, so obviously there's that. And just also look, if we go right as the circle pops, what's available in this circle at this point? What can you play from if you're not in just yet? QM, they're split, obviously. They have a position inside. BA, they, despite being the early ones down here, never shifted with the circle, so they're sitting outside. Arc, they have a chance to run up, but they could be contested. LYG still playing shelter, and DA is in. L-Stars, you're out. D7, you can see them already in the cast. Where do you go from here? Do you crash up here? Do you try and go all the way in over north? It's not an easy position to be in for any of them, and thank you so much, Matt. It's not an easy position to be in for any of them. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They were have a spot. 5 teams outside, and in my thought, the only thing they can do, because this is not a compound, this is one of those towers that you can climb into. It looks like a compound, kind of. It can fool you if you only look at the map, but it's not actually a building. It's a tower that you can climb into, with like the big stairs going up the top. I would assume, for the most part, oh, we got LGE up here as well. Didn't even notice them. They're coming in super late. I would assume a lot of these teams will have to bounce over towards Potato. And then having to run down from there, that's where it's going to get, well, really difficult. That's where it gets really, really hard, having to leave there again. So we'll see. We'll see how it all unfolds. Arc, they are indeed going over. LG, only 2 players alive, limited what you can really do. BA, go up towards the Wizard. Not sure exactly why LYG wanted to get down there, considering it was outside. But they lose 2 players doing so. Arc, wrapping around as well. Of course, QM, they had their position up there already, so they didn't really need to contest a whole lot to get it. Circle, West, OMG, immediately. We need to commit to one compound. Do we want to sit up here? Do we want to sit down there? Why do they prioritize as they do? I think the answer is pretty simple. They know that the last 2 circles has gone Western hard shift, West. They know for a fact that the bottleneck that has been created over time is coming in from this way. And if you're sitting right in the pinnacle of that bottleneck, there's going to be a hell of a lot of teams focusing your compound. So OMG backing off, saying, you know what, we don't want the pressure. We'll take the safe compound. It makes really good sense. Also, there's still 4 guys alive, so smart decision to back off and play from there. Smart move by Arc. Stopping before moving to Potato. Yep, scout forward, scout and go, scout and go, scout and go. You can see they constantly just like micromanage their vehicles into the circles. They know they need them. Because even though, I mean, right now Arc can play on foot from, like this can be played on foot by Arc. Inside the circle and outside. This can be played on foot by Arc. But if the circle goes down here, like there's no way they're getting down here on foot. They will need those cars to just go YOLO. They need to get those cars ready to go. Also, I mean, they're driving downhill, so they will gain speed fast, which makes it harder for other teams to hit you and whatnot. So they need to have those vehicles in case of an emergency situation where the circles don't go the way that they want them to. But they're up on the plateau right now. 4 a.m. forced into a shack, not the situation you want to be in, of course. 4 teams inside of Snake trying to make their way over to the edge. FPX still alive. I don't know if they have any kills yet. Nope, no kills so far. They've been playing it safe on the western side of the circle. And now, as we said, Arc, at some point you have to commit to it. Circle went away from Potato, and that's just them saying, well, we have our cars. This is where we go full boost and then pray to the lords that this rotation works out. But as you can see, getting completely and utterly lasered before they even get there. So they are eliminated. FPX rotating up over the top. They're gonna play on foot, I would believe, from this circle forward. Depending on if it shifts out west, then it's difficult, but we'll see. They try and split out, have as much control as possible. Makes perfect sense. They have the dip to work with for now, but still 23 players alive. What's interesting though is 4 guys up, 4, 3, 4, 3, duo, solo. So we have a lot of 3 or 4 man teams. Yes, it is sick. Should I write that? Should I write that in the description? PCL parentheses China. So people know. I'm gonna do that. Now it's in the because people have been asking. Oh, you're not the only one who asked, sick. So now I wrote it so people know at least. Circle sent us up. There's nothing here. There's actually nothing there. What do you do in this situation, no matter who you are? Well, they can play the compound. These guys can stay inside as well. It's just all of these guys. What do you do? If you're FPX in this situation, honestly, knowing that these guys got breached earlier, you might be better off just sending it, because odds are they're playing with broken vests. They might not have that much utility. They might have had players knocked. You got 4 guys up and alive. Crash that garage building and see what happens. That's because you're not gonna survive if you do this. And well, that's exactly what happens. They might not win, as you can see. In all fairness, kudos. Like, congrats to Tiamba for holding off multiple teams. That's not an easy thing to do, but very good game by Tiamba, to be honest. How many kills do they have by now? 10 kills already. And they were 3 guys. Like, they lost their first player very early on in the game too. So having held off both ARC and FDX in this position, they got a little help from QM earlier, holding off LGX, but still. Holding off ARC, I mean, when they came driving down from Potato. But still, impressive. Impressive that they managed to do that without losing a single player, because those breaches can get very chaotic at times. But they prevail. They maintain their compound, and now Wu Fang comes over. There's like a ridge line down here they can hide on. All the solos have been eliminated, so we got the corner war going on. The corner combat. It's now we want the final circle to go to here, right? Just for the memes. Like, we don't want the circle to favor anyone. It should just go like right in the middle. Oh, OMG gets it. But does that mean they win? It's no guarantee. QM try to send one more across. Doesn't happen. Wu Fang is still alive from the back foot, and he might be able to do something, but I was just going to say VG also have an ankle down towards him. It's really not an easy circle to play this one at all. OMG, they know they need to do something. You look at the way they split out all of a sudden. From having been completely tied in that little corner of the circle, like all they have is this. Seconds later, boom. Now all of a sudden they're sitting at half the circle. Not completely, but kind of. They know we can't just pile up on top of each other. We need to split out and take control. And that's exactly what they do. Schmilly gets a double. Good kills by him. One more team eliminated. And now QM on the northern side. And OMG in a 2v2. Lion KK. Did you get down to blue, Wu Fang? Oh, he got tagged once and then he tried to heal. And then he goes down. That's unfortunate. You're gonna die to blue? Yes. So Lion KK and Schmiley managed to get themselves the win. I was gonna say I don't think they got that many kills, but they actually got a 8-kill win. I wasn't expecting that much, but sure they did rag up some kills on the southern side in the end of it. Quick math. Yep, it's quick math. No, it's not that. Interesting game though. Again, really tough circle 4 and 5 shifts. Are you kidding? Look at this. When you have this circle, you're thinking either it ends up the hillside, it goes farm, something like that. But then this one comes. That's a tough shift for a lot of the teams, because it's so much more compound heavy on the eastern side. You have Middleton there, you have all these compounds to play around. And then on the west, you have like 3 teams or 2 teams in this situation taking control of pretty much all of it. Like, once this shift comes in, 2 teams are sitting on over a third of the circle. A very difficult situation to be in for a lot of the teams. And again, crazy circles, but that of course just makes it that much more fun for us. That was the last Erangel game of day number 1. We'll throw it straight over to that one Sanhok game they get to play every day. One Sanhok game. We don't want too many of those. Just one. Just a single one. Sanhok is where we're headed. Before we get started, let me just check up on one thing. It's gonna take 2 seconds. I just want to see playoffs. Scroll. Oh, this is QM Gaming. Okay, I thought this stood for something else, but it didn't. QM Gaming. Great. Okay, nonetheless, let's move on. We're moving into Sanhok. One game on Sanhok is what they get. One team bootcamp, one team ruins, one team paradise. We got 2 teams, 2.5 teams with L-Stars over on the northwestern island. A lot of room south. That's not usually what happens in the other regions. I think this area down here is prioritized more in other regions than what we see here. On the flip side, you have so many more splits going on in the middle on the eastern island than what we have in other regions. So, like, there's way more. It's way more condensed in the middle over here than down here. Normally in Europe, we see NIP kind of being exclusively looting ruins. They do take a little more control early, but then we have Knights splitting down here as a full 4-man team. We've had Desperados down here as well. 7 has been down here, and Ents and Reciprocity too. So a lot more southern teams on the western side, or the western as in Europe and NA, and what we see here. Now let's see though that first circle, where are we headed? North. Okay, so it's pretty much guaranteed to go into paradise. Is that what we can say? Depending on the next circle, of course. Yeah, exactly. There's been a lot of circles going there. But this time around, it's the polar opposite. Chanba, they're going to rotate up fast. Rotate into Hartin, get themselves looted up there. Maybe take a boat across. I'm not sure exactly what they're planning on doing, but seems like they are moving down in that direction. OMG, they're coming in late. YTG, they're getting themselves looted far up north. Putting themselves in a good position. Potentially, depending, of course, on the next shift. QM, well, they're back at it again. Killing even more. Now it's Ark this time around they're contesting, but doesn't really work out for them. And Lychee has to make the run down towards Paradise. Nobody seems to want to sit in there for too long. And OMG, they're sailing out of the map now. They're full-on pirating their way out of the map itself. Circle, well, now we know for a fact it's going to go down around here next time around. So I think most teams will stay. And we've had this exact circle in... was it in PEL? I cast too many different... Like, I do this for too many different leagues. I'm pretty sure it was PEL where Desperados won it on the hilltop. This area is very, very open. Yeah, Desperados won it up here. It's a very open area. It's one of those rice field plateau layer cake type thingies. Yes. Very difficult area to maintain control of, to say the least, because as open as it is, as easy as it for snakes to sneak up, if you play up here, you're really relying on those compound teams to spot the opponents and start shooting at them to give you the info that people are coming to you. It's very difficult. Xiao, well, I don't think OMG is in the best position. Lion KK is gonna wrap around far east into the blue, but at least they're alive. And Shark is just, well, I mean, he is a shark. But I don't think that puts him in his natural habitat. Not exactly the situation he would have wanted to be in. He is a fish after all, you know. Circle goes pretty much where expected. Actually, I thought, I mean, yeah, the water's up here anyway. So a little water in still, but that can make a big difference, mainly because of the fact that now we don't have to exclude water for the next 3 circles. So it could just keep going down towards this little island, and then the game ends out there. Could you imagine a game ending on this island? I would absolutely love to see that. Circles moving the way forward. And again, these roads, we talked about them. We talked about them yesterday in duos when I was doing GL Wingman as well. These roads essentially become rivers. I mean, having to cross any of this, it's It's no fun. It really is not any fun whatsoever. D7G going down to take a compound. Smart positioning by them, but look at the mass of teams. Like if we draw a line through the middle, we talked about how there's not a lot you can play up here. This down here is just a big open, like this whole area down by the shoreline. It's just a big open area, like flat and open, where all these compounds and hill positions can spot you. So no one's gonna play down there. No one can really play up here other than the teams that are already there. And that forces all these teams to just cram up on the eastern side. Really difficult position to be in. And they just have to take one, like they're all gonna get like 8th partied when they try to make their pushes in. Very difficult situation to try and run through. Sanhok is not a place you want to be at all. LYG though try to make the most of it. Now we see D7G try to make the run up the hill. Not again, they got shifted out. They were in the compound, and you can't just run straight in. I mean, there's a 3-way road. You don't want to cross the road, and if you absolutely have to cross the road, might as well cross it where you know there's no opponents. So they go back, wrap around, hope that the game, of course, is going to end on their side of the road, because now they crossed. Even as fast as they crossed, LG was shooting at them, so you can tell what would have happened had they crossed anywhere closer. But they get around, manage to make their way in. VG take out Tianba. Now Arc coming in the southern side, holding off one team. Everyone is playing this one kind of on the back foot. It's a little interesting. Where normally we wouldn't have this many teams live in Circle 5, I guess this is. Circle 6. There wouldn't normally be this many teams alive in this phase. In other regions, I would say. They would have cleared out faster, but they make room for each other. Or like they give room to each other, I guess. And that also kind of goes to show in the way they split so aggressively in other maps or on Erangel. Lumber camp, yeah, kind of. It's that place with all the big lumber piles here and there. LYG, we talked about Sanhok not exactly being the funniest place to play from. Well, I think they're pretty satisfied with the with the compound they have right now. They might not get a lot of kills, but they're at least able to stay alive here. 4 AM, still 2 guys up. They got the circle somewhat up on the eastern side. Now they could third party. And LGE again. LGE just continues racking up points out on the eastern side. FPX, they need to cross on over. Difficult position for them to be in. But as we said before, as 4 players, you take up that much more space. And, well, 4 AM, they're poking LG from one side, and LYG is doing it from the other. And 4 AM might actually be in a really good position here. Full elimination, all of a sudden, the Dut is going to be in the middle. Bucks tries to get out. And all of a sudden, Miko and Maps, they're caught in the compound. This could be, I mean, this should be 4 AM win. As I say that, they want to get eliminated, but Sicko is there to get the win. So great play by 4 AM. What do they get? 10 kills, I believe, this game, right? Yep, 10 kills. I knew this. I'm good at counting. Also, I saw the stats just before. But having been in part of the cluster pile, you can see they come in from the south, right over the northern side of Paradise. And it's all about maintaining control. So these roads keep guys with control on both sides. Get further up, split out, elimination, get your reses in. Never stay far away from each other. Sicko, up, clear over the top, get looted, push in with your teammates. Now 1 is down. And look at this. They're down to 2 players with 23 alive. But they managed to maintain their circle side and always get the reses up, And RNG knows that we cannot push on that knock because there's teams coming right after, and that's completely right. LG crashed straight into them and completely slaughtered them. So, in all fairness, RNG might have been better off just full-on sprinting in that direction, but doesn't happen. 4 AM get themselves a win, but not just a win. A pretty nifty 10-kill one at that. Really good game for 4 AM. Game number 5. Not 45, just 5. On day 1, takes us over to Miramar. Now let's see what happens here. Twitch has a new look. I don't know. Twitch looks the same to me. I don't know what Twitch looks like to you. Now I accidentally opened Steam and it's gonna pop up in the main monitor will soon, I think. Yep, go away, Steam. I didn't want to open you. Go away, thank you. Game number 5 though, going over to Miramar. Let's just get the plane out. Have everyone jump, spot that first circle. Boink, northern one. Now let's see the loots. Arc, they get Picardo control. It's interesting. Normally, let me think this one through. The Pochinki teams are normally the Picardo teams. But in this case, it's not. In this case, it's a Yasnaya team. That's a Picardo team. I'm trying to think PKL. How they split it. I don't want to refresh. Now you scare me. I don't want to refresh. I'm not going to refresh before I'm done streaming. In any case, the circle goes north. And we've talked about this a lot, but if you're new to the stream, I'll gladly repeat myself for you. Because it's worth mentioning, and I'm going to keep saying it, because it's something that people really need to know. As soon as you go north of San Martin, I guess you can draw it up. Like water treatment to San Martin, Will Pozo. This entire box... all the roads, if you draw them up in green, right? Alright. You don't have to actually draw up all the roads, but we're going to do it now anyway, just because I said it. Just the main roads we'll draw up. All the main roads are the valley points. We don't have those roads that go up and over, only the dirt road that goes up here, but we don't want to think too much about that one right now. All the roads are the ones where the compounds are. And... obviously, compound equals hardcover, walls, you name it. But if you set yourself down in a compound, you're also not really able to see a lot, because these high points that we have around here on the map are extremely, well, high. So if you're sitting here, all you can see is to this wall here. You might be able to see if you're on the corner up to this point, but that's only from a few select buildings. And then you can see down to the compound there. If you sit in here, you can't see too far either, because this hill is blocking like your entire western vision. So in PEL, at least in my understanding and how I've tried to kind of plan it, is that early game, what do you prioritize? Do you want to lock down compounds in case the circle goes to you? Or do you want to lock down high ground positions so that you can get vision to what compounds to rotate to later on? Because there are a lot of different high ground positions that you can play from in this circle. It's not easy to select, and I think a lot of teams, and I'm very excited to see how it's going to unfold in the Chinese league, that you split it, right? So you have one guy sitting up here and a guy down here. One guy is in the compound, another guy's on top. These compounds, of course, they have both the high ground and the compounds. So those are just extremely good to be in up here as well. You got like these 3 compounds are practically not hilltop, but like up on the hill compounds. So they're really, really good to play from. But the high points and someone in a low point, could be here, could be there, it doesn't really matter. But considering how much the Chinese teams likes to split, like aggressively split, I want to see. I want to see how they do with this circle. Let's see, 4 AM already quite widely split vehicle-wise. DAE, I think forever probably noticed the vehicle some open doors, and he immediately dipped out of that one. VG rotating in from the south. We haven't really seen a whole lot from VG so far, but they're pushing their way up towards the water treatment hillsides. Now they take the compound instead. FPX, they want high ground control. Look up and over. Again, high ground, push over towards compounds. Priority compounds over on the eastern side. High ground, vision, look up and over. Okay, can you guys find any examples in PEL, PKL, NPL, anywhere, where a team is allowed to do this in circle 1? I mean, I would understand if they landed there and looted, but that is an insane 4-way split. They have like they've just taken 3 priority compounds in 3 different circle types. 4 AM, man, they're not afraid. They're committing to these aggressive splits, and well, I mean, since no one's contesting them, why wouldn't they? As long as you have an exit plan, as long as you have a chance to make your way up. But look, I want to see wellness now. What do? Vehicles are coming. Mango is on his way up towards you. Yeah, I wouldn't say LGE split is as wild as this one. This is more durable because it's all uphill driving, which means that if anyone is coming to you, you will most likely hear them at quite a distance, and they're not rotating that fast. And whenever you're disengaging, you're most likely driving downhill, so you will be able to get away. But this flat, potentially, if the team comes up here, they can get a drive hill towards the compound. Here, you can argue that they can see them from quite a distance, so that's all right, unless if they come from north. And loose position is not that well covered either. And VG, it's so far out on the eastern side. I mean, they only look at this position. It's so center. It's the center of the circle. So VG's position wouldn't really, like, you wouldn't expect it to be that much contested. But let's see wellness, how he fares against the entirety of Ark pulling up towards his compound in a second. Or at least, what? Does he just drive off? Mango, hello? Okay, so Siggo comes over. We can actually say the same about Siggo's position. If the pushes, he immediately leaves. They're not even going to scout and start shooting. It's just as soon as you hear cars nearby, you leave. And that's, I think, the idea of it. That you split aggressively, but only if you're allowed to. So as soon as somebody comes knocking at your door, I mean, it could be, okay, let's put it this way. Let's say DA wants to rotate down to this compound. Just because. But as soon as they hear the cars here, 4 AM just leave. And they go down there. But this compound is going to be open. You know? Like any sound they hear that a team is coming towards them, get the hell out of there. Makes sense. YTG though, now they have 2 players up here. And Forever, what are you going to do, buddy? You saw him immediately in his car. He's not leaving yet though, but he was in his car for a second. He has the cover fire from below, and he's leaving. Oh, well, also because the new circle popped. But it's just interesting the way they're splitting. We don't see those type of really aggressive splits very often in the Western region. And I think once we get to PGC and those things, that if the Chinese teams try to do this against European and I don't know about the MPL teams, but mainly against the European teams, they will get punished. If the European teams realize that the Chinese teams do this a lot in the center of the, because that's the thing, this split from VG earlier, that's not, I mean, it's wide, yes, but it's not too big of a deal because they're on the edge of the circle. 4 AM were literally in the center of the circle in priority compounds, and they were split 1-1-1-1. It's just baffling. It's mind-blowing. But yep, they all managed to survive at least right off the bat. And then talking rotations. Here is to your high point. This is downhill. I think it's actually a little further north. This is downhill in that direction, and downhill in that direction, all more like this direction. Here's a high point. And what I'm trying to say with this is, if you want to rotate straight south to north, not really possible. You need to really gap around, or what do you say? Wrap around the side of the circle if you want to get anything up here. You can't at this point just go like that. I mean, you could probably try, but odds are you probably won't have success with doing it. Major teams should also punish them. Oh yeah, I agree. Divine, they will not care. And Armory Gaming as well. A Detonator, I don't know. Detonator, I don't really know about. I don't consider them a very aggressive team when it comes to that. Gen G, maybe? Detonator, I don't know. Now let's see. BA though, they're on the northern side. They got 1 player knocked. Might be able to stay put. VG, they're down to 3. And you should find one of the guys there. Ifty coming over the top, trying to get the rotation game going. And Chiamba, they're just miles up north. I mean, they're practically outside of our screen at this point. QM, scout, rotate, scout, rotate. And also when we go this far north on the map, we hit points at which teams tend to not know the terrain too well. Because when is the last time you had a game end up here, for example? You know what I mean? So it will be interesting to see with these next shifts. Oh my god, are we getting Oasis ending? We're still debating whether Oasis counts as water or not. I guess we'll see with this circle. We know it has to shift away from the mountaintops. Does it shift away from Oasis too? Then it can pretty much only go down here. If circle 4 goes here, then I think Oasis counts as water. We'll see. We will see. But interesting situation that very few teams have probably been in a competitive game before. Because this entire hilltop, again, can't really just go up it because you have to go down on the other side. So a lot of teams are deciding to wrap around. QM, if they are over there as well. LYG, they're rotating on the east side. L-Stars got shifted out. And again, you cannot just go in here. This is a really, really hard area to go through. You cannot just rotate up here because of the mountain. You cannot just go in here because of the mountain. You cannot just drive up here. I mean, this, I think from around here, something like this, is like a no-no. You cannot even get up here with a vehicle. It's just a straight ridge with a mountain. And driving up the hill here, believe me, I know this because I was a witness. I was a victim of this rotation not too long ago. Driving up here in a buggy. Buggies are supposedly one of those cars that can maintain speed while driving uphill. I was driving, I think, 15 kilometers an hour, and I had one of the guys from Reciprocity shoot me in the back of my head. He was sitting over here somewhere. So, uphill rotations and vehicles here. Maybe, if you have 4 bikes. If not, then you just can't do it. You just can't do it. You need to go around this way. You need to go around underneath. But you know there's going to be teams there waiting for you. So it's really, really, really difficult. 4 AMs is not really... Yeah. I mean, this is a 2-way split. And then they split a little wider. I think Seiko just wants to... I mean, Wellness knows that this is clear. And Seiko goes up to hold it so that his teammates can drive up. I would assume they stop on Seiko as well. Or maybe go to Wellness. I mean, yeah, same. I wouldn't call it a 3-way split, though, because one is technically not inside the circle. If you know what I mean. It's just a rotation to a 2-way split on the south, like on the bottom, the foot of the mountain. I think they're still just waiting. I mean, 4AM is just hoping the circle goes south. Because if we're going away from mountaintops and we're going away from Oasis, then it has to go over here somewhere, right? You would expect so, at least. We'll see. We'll see. Chianba, at least, they're kind of committing to Oasis already. FPX are up there as well. Oh, my back is so freaking sore. D7G, they committed to push around that side. Now let's see. Where do you think the circle goes, guys? Where do you think it goes? Let's get some bets in the chat. Because I don't know. I didn't run through this game already. So I actually don't know. Patrick might know if you watch this game. I didn't get to watch this game. You think it goes southeast? That's my thought is down here somewhere too. It goes to BA. Okay, so east, like east, northeast kind of road. Southeast. Yeah. I think we all know that it's not going to go to this mountaintop. It can't, I don't think it can go even here in Circle 4. I don't know about Oasis. I'm not sure if Oasis counts as water. Because Quarry doesn't on Sanhok. And yes, I know there are areas that you have to swim through. We'll see. Let's see. Most people are saying road, like somewhere here, or here, or here. So somewhere on the eastern side of the half. Huh. Quarry is not... No, Oasis is not water. Interesting. I was almost like I was gonna put money on a circle down here. I was gonna put money on a shift down here. What? Interesting. So the circle goes to Oasis. Huh. Maybe it was one of those, what do you call it? Fata Morgana. What is that in English? Mirage, you know? Like when you're in the desert and you're so thirsty and you think there's an oasis. But there was no water when it all came down to it. It was fake. It was just a mirage. 4 AM is like 4 AM they're opening their rule book and they go like, Land ratio. Phase 4. Flip the table. I think that's the mind of I think that's the mind of Foyum. They just go like this. Are you freaking killing me? I think that's pretty much all. That's probably what they said. Written up with that voice though. But in any case, the circle does go north. Wow, I did not expect to see this shift. OMG, they're holding the top. I mean, for any team that is south right now, it's gonna be so difficult. 4 AM, what can you do? I mean, very difficult situation to find yourself in. They need to somehow get up from the push up the hill. DA pushing over to third party, eliminating 3 of them. Seiko is by himself. We continue, of course, to go up towards FPX up on the top side. FPX, I mean, look at the position they were in early. They looted up here. They landed here and looted. And just go la-di-di-la-di-da, let's go over to Oasis. They're in all kinds of joy with this split they're in. Chow Chow might be able to get himself a good position off of this one. Hey, I will. Thank you so much for the host. They can't do that. No, there's no way 4 AM gets up here. If you just came in now, I have an interesting phase 4 shift for you. We were debating. We all thought it was going to go down here because this is unplayable and Oasis is border. How do you like, if you're playing PL, I want to see the reaction. If there's any Pro League or Contenders players in the chat right now, if you're playing and you see this shift in phase 4, would you flip your table? Because apparently Oasis is not water. We didn't know that until today. But Oasis is not water. At least not this part of it. I'm very surprised. In Kickoff Cup? Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, there was an Oasis shift up there. That is true. I forgot about that. Yeah, out on the eastern side. But what? It's just very confusing to me. But nonetheless, we were here. We were here. Circle. I mean, this is a huge downhill push for all these guys in towards the compounds. And for the teams that are already in, you can make plays for anyone. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams on the southern side trying to push forward. Seiko is just proning on his own. Not a lot he can do. Ark trying to wrap around and get some kills. They just need, I mean, if Ark can contain, if they can claim this entire territory to themselves, they will have some wiggle room. But this ain't easy. Not an easy position to be in at all. Circles shifts down once again. We still got the water in. There's a concrete building open and available for the teams to run to. Not an easy position to be in. VG, this is probably not the time. We want to keep a three-way split. I like the idea, but maybe a little greedy in Circle 6 to have this split. Just saying. And I would assume they get punished. Yep. They get completely slaughtered immediately. So finally we see a situation where a team gets punished for these very, very wide splits. Because they haven't really punished at all on the day in any other case. Compound open, who the hell is going to get to that? I don't think anyone is going to actually use vehicles at this point, other than Pig here. Oops. Pig has a bike. A pig on a bike. Could you imagine that? He has a chance to make a play. But look at this. I mean, South, we have 2 teams now. It's not even 2 teams. It's 3 guys and a duo. We have 24 people alive, and 18 of them are in the northern half of the circle. That's insane. It just becomes a cluster fight up on the northern side. Ark might win this if they get a southern shift in the next one. FPX, they're chilling in the middle, obviously. Not going to go anywhere. Tianba's still 4 guys alive too. Tianba was one of those teams that really early actually committed. Like, they committed to Oasis. I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, because you guys can't see what I'm pointing at. But they committed to Oasis really early on, as if they knew. Oh my. Oh, that's just... Pew, 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 pew. Urine the slaughter. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Good place by the solo. Solo, duo, 4-man team. Never stop pointing. Maybe I just won't draw anymore. I'll just be like, doing this and that in the air, and then you guys have to guess what I'm talking about. Chiamba, this is a nice play by them. They know that they can't get, like, they don't want to get, we saw that with, was it LGE in the Sanhok game? That were 4 guys alive late, I think. And then 4 AM and the team in the FGX actually was in the compound. They managed to even though they were 4 and they were 2-2, they made it hell for them because of the position they were in. So they say we have to commit to one side, have to clear out one team first. They immediately run over, full 4-man engage to this. Now they can run back and focus on the other side. That is a really smart play. And also, when you have one side guaranteed, look at how they can split out now and take control. Really, really smart. Urine, you just pulled off a 1v3. Can he do this? Money on the line, guys. Will Urine win? He will not. I like the idea though. I mean, how many kills do they end up getting? They get 8 kills. Oh, they still get themselves a solid 9-point game or 9-kill game. That's what 15 points, and these guys get 18, so barely even more. Urine. Yeah, I don't think that's how I'm supposed to pronounce that name. I didn't even think about that. Thanks, Thandorian or Thandrian. But he tried. He tried. Didn't work out though, unfortunately. One more game left on the day. Let's see. Let me just there. Game number 6. Miramar. That was a really fun ending. I gotta say, considering that it's the first days, think about this. These guys have played 6 weeks. They've played them. Okay, technically not, because not all the teams play all the time. But they have played, at least duration-wise, a full season of most other pro leagues. And now they go into the finals, and the first day it's just nothing but yoink circles everywhere. Like, honestly, those Circle 4, Circle 5 shifts, all games so far have just been brutal. and this circle isn't exactly any more fun. But we do have some changes in drop spots, because the last game was far north with the plane. Now we got LGE down in Valor. Okay, OMG, they're gonna go back down towards Chuma. I would actually have thought that OMG did more up here, but Smiley is gonna stay church. Sharkloots, I thought they were contesting more on the northern side actually. I know 4M has been up in that area before, but no, not this time around. Yeah, I know they like Chuma, but I thought when there's no dedicated, I don't know, this doesn't really have a name, this area, but it was 4M who were there. Yeah, okay, maybe you're right. It's Patrick, you're probably right. Yeah, they go for the TSM split. We shouldn't call it that, because they are not that settled with it. But the Hacienda split, I guess we can call it. That does make more sense. RNG and DAE, they're looting on their respective sides of Los Leones. BA, I'm not sure exactly what you'd call that split. That's different. It's like we didn't get Impala, we didn't get Porto Paraíso. We're kind of looting in the middle. Split. Considering how wide everyone likes to split when they rotate into circles, isolating yourself to this few compounds early game seems like a risky business. But in any case, FPX once again in a very good spot for that circle to come. They're gonna rotate up and take a center position. 4AM, they're gonna rotate in. I would assume they prioritize this spot. How wide is 4AM going to split this? They're gonna rotate even further. Cruz del Valle 2-2. Okay, so 2-2 splitting. No over aggressive splits for them. Hello? Bolyang, you might want to get over to your teammates. Okay, they're splitting extremely wide there. 3-way split. Can't see each other at all, but okay. Oh, maybe they can actually, because this is like uphill plateau. No, it's a graveyard. There's a plateau even higher than that, right? So it's plateau, downhill, plateau, downhill, downhill. Isn't it like that? I always mess up these circles, like this area of the map. So you have the plateau up here, downhill to the graveyard, downhill to this area, downhill to Chuma. Isn't that how it is? I activated... What did I say? I don't know, but hello. I don't know how I managed to do that. L-Stars 3. Wow. Easy, I guess so. These rotations, man, or these splits, they are extreme. I like them because they're very new to me. I do not see in these circles a lot of teams sit like this in the middle of a circle. Again, had it been, I mean, obviously it can be up here, but had it been here, it would make sense because it's on the edge. But this is center positions, and they're three-way splitting it. That's interesting. Very interesting. Now let's see. Circle centers up. LSH is a hellhole, and teams would most likely look to wrap around that on either side. Ifty, I would assume that they kind of meet somewhere over in the middle because they want to clear this as fast as they can. FPX might want to get together somewhere. Are they keeping their three-way split? No, they're not. They're staying two-way split. That's still extremely risky. I feel like these two compounds have way too much priority or way too much value for them to dare not expect to get pushed. And Elstars lost a player. Who would have thought? Who would have thought Elstars would lose a player keeping that split? Ananas, they're coming on the eastern side. They're just trying to take control over that. Oh, we got too fast. That's why. And now the new circle pops. OMG is the only team. I mean, I guess Arc to a certain extent too. But OMG is the only team that is kind of committed to staying on the southern side. Now let's see with the circle shifting. They could stay south, but I would strongly assume that they do something to cross this road. I do not think at this point that they want to be on the southern side of this road. That is way too dangerous. Yeah, I don't know exactly what this idea is. I mean, please go down here now. VG don't even want to commit to it. They should realize that it's a two-man compound. But then again, I guess it's hard to really scout from the position that they're in. And I mean, again, that's the thing, right? If they never get punished, I think that's going to be an eye-opener. I hope some of you Chinese guys out there watching my videos, if you are, then I have an advice for you. Give me 1 second. If any Chinese viewers are watching right now, I would like to say this to you.
不要在世锦赛上保持这种分歧，欧洲队将惩罚您。
Mark my words. What it meant was, don't stay this split in the World Championships. The European teams will kill you. That now they know. Now I've warned them. They now know. It's their fault if they don't know, because I told them. I told them in advance. And now it's up to them to know. So finally, the only team that kills FPX is their own. Seems like they ran someone over. Gotta say, actually, coming to think of it, we have not seen a whole lot of team knocks. That is impressive. Very impressive. Europeans and Americans are excellent at running over teammates and blowing each other up. But Americans even more so than the Europeans. Which should be difficult to top, but they still managed to do that. Teams trying to get out of Cruz del Valle ain't easy. BA over the top might have a chance to get the third party in on towards them. New circle is going to be interesting. OMG managed to get some a little bit of a perimeter set up here. Champa, smart splits by them as well. New circle pops. Oh, FPX in center positions. That's impressive. Really impressive, not gonna lie. Arc clearing their side of the circle. LGE, they push further down, and this might be a situation that even though Tiamba has a good split on them, I don't think they would have wanted this, because they might lose players in this and they need to move forward. This is not going to be easy for anyone down on the southern side. You can draw a line here. Look at how open this is. And this is not just because, oh, there's so many more players on the southern side and they can't get up there. No, it's because there's nothing to take here. It is very difficult to play in this area. Shack, 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 shack. That's all you have. You have some rolls, but because all these high ground areas are still in game, you can't play any of them. You're just going to get shot from above. You can't play anything here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of. Let's just say 9 out of 13 teams on the southern half. If I could draw it straight. On the southwestern half of the circle. And there's the thing is, where do you go? All of them down here either have to cross a road, which would be up here. Like either you have to cross a road to get in, or you have to run through a compound, or you have to run up this hill where you have no info on the other side. That's why you see Lin go up early to get some sort of info. What you do? I mean, you have to push into a fight no matter what. Because the thing is, these teams, OMG for example, they can't push further in because FPX is there. RNG, well, they have a compound in the circle, so why would they leave? And up here, there's no one. Wonder why? There's nothing to play. Really, really difficult circle for all these teams that are on the southern side right now. Tiamba try to push up and over. They run straight into Ifty. Compound fights escalate with LXG and D7. I mean, all these teams... then it shifts even further away again. And this high ground stays in. Jesus Christ. These Chinese teams are being complete and utterly trolled by the circles in this day of games. That's insane. That's actually insane. YTG, 2Dog try to hold off D7. Well, they actually managed to succeed in doing so, but probably goes down. Yep, it killed it immediately after. But still, kill points obtained in a very difficult situation, so good for them. DAE try to hold the eastern side. Timon is by himself for now. Now he gets knocked. Now it's up to the two teammates to do something from there. 4 AM, they're up on the northern side still. They could push further in. This is a difficult area to fight, and as I said before, all of these are just like the roles where you can see, like you have to go up top to see your opponent on the other side. BA, still 4 alive. We talked about them. They can't go out and get those crazy games. But I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen in FPX again, finding late game. How many do they have now? 2 kills so far. So pretty quiet game for them when they send the compound early. 4 AM, this should be a 4 AM game. They're very well positioned with the high ground. You can see they can see over to the compound. They can contain on the backside with Lu up above. LYG went to this shack early, and now they're kind of being fortunate with that. And BA, late game, how many kills are they up at? Only 5. Again, they were also the northern team. They were on the back foot of all the action, I guess you can say. So they got placements over kills in this game. 4 AM starting to split out. BA still very much contained. They have to push down the hill into this. Not going to be easy at all. Maps. I love how there's only one place a player could still be hiding. And once he goes down, well, I guess we have to go in here. They just all sent it into him. And Naps goes down. Seiko gets the kill. And 4 AM get themselves their second win of the day with another 10-kill victory. That's impressive. Impressive day for them. 2 wins on day 1. And that's obviously why they finished day 1 in first place. I think if I go over to this playlist 3, I have the overall standings from day 1. Yes, so these were the standings after day 1. 4 AM in first place with 64 points, again, with the amount of kills they had. They were sitting at 37 kills. The closest teams to them were DAE, actually. At 30. Arco up there, I knew that. But impressive day nonetheless for a lot of the teams. Teams that didn't really succeed, L-Stars being one of them. And that's surprising to me because L-Stars were in... They were in the FACEIT Global Summit, right? I'm pretty sure that L-Stars were in FACEIT Global Summit. Scrolling. Oh, wait, no. They weren't. They were in an MET series. I was talking about Crystal Luster. That was the team. Yeah. Not FACEIT Global Summit. OMG having a tough time. Still 32 points. We're looking at the kills right now. They're sitting in what? They're sitting down here. So it's not the worst. I mean, we got 5 teams tied at 41 points. So it's not because it looks far down because they're down the list, but I mean, they're really not that far out. It's just 4 AM kind of separating themselves on day 1. But that was the first day of games. I hope if you're watching on YouTube that you enjoyed day 1, and we'll be coming back for day 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you